Hey, Browns fans, welcome to another Browns practice report coming to you from Berea, where the Browns returned not only to town after their 2 weeks away on the West Coast in Denver and Los Angeles, but also returned to practice ahead of a big matchup ready coming down the pike this weekend against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So there's a lot sort of still looming in terms of this matchup. We know as of Monday night that Trevor Lawrence got hurt. He's dealing with a high ankle sprain. His status for this game, based on just reporting that's out there, sounds like it's a long shot he'll play. So obviously discouraging news in terms of another injury in the NFL. But for the Browns standpoint, makes this game the outlook of this game a lot different, I should say, than what it looked like a week ago when you knew you were playing against a very good Jaguars team with a very good quarterback, one of the top teams in the AFC. Now this is a situation where the Browns start this sort of 5-game home stretch or 5-game home stretch of the season, I should say, with a matchup that certainly looks a lot different than it did. So that's kind of the outlook moving forward into the week. But as the Browns return to the practice field today, some notable injury updates that fans are going to want to obviously pay attention to. I think first and foremost, we'll get this one out of the way. Denzel Ward was back on the practice field today. That is an encouraging sign after the defense struggled in Denver and Los Angeles on that road trip. And the numbers sort of reflect that when they're on the road, Browns have struggled. 30 points per game they're allowing at home, 10 points per game. To get Denzel Ward back in front of the home crowd this weekend potentially should be a good thing, a good momentum builder for that side of the ball, obviously. So it's good to see that he's back out there for Cleveland. Another player who returned to the practice field today, and this is one that I know fans, the question that's kind of looming large entering the week of practice. Dorian Thompson-Robinson was out there today. Granted, still not sure exactly how much he's doing from a practice standpoint because Kevin Stefanski did announce that he remains in the concussion protocol, but progressing towards being able to return to the field potentially this weekend. And we know that that is the big decision that looms large for Kevin Stefanski. He's going to have to choose between Dorian Thompson-Robinson, assuming he clears the protocols by the end of the week, and Joe Flacco to name his starting quarterback. I think what's interesting as you kind of read the tea leaves on this situation, it feels very much like this could be a one of those gamesmanship type scenarios where Kevin Stefanski isn't really going to give anything away until he absolutely has to. Going to keep his cards close to the vest, which is totally understandable from a head coaching standpoint when you got two different guys that could be options for you going into a big game. So I don't necessarily blame him for that. But I will say, out on the practice field today, during the open portion that we were able to view, it was Joe Flacco taking the majority of the snaps when during passing drills that were visible, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson took basically just 2 snaps. So again, I don't know if that's a sign that he was still sort of limited in what he could do because, as Stefanski alluded to, still working through the protocols, not quite finished with that yet, or if it's a sign that Joe Flacco is for sure the starter. But you can take that for what it is and read into it how you will. I think it certainly is a sign, sort of just picking up on the tea leaves here, that Flacco is at least the leader in the clubhouse, and that's obviously going to play dividends as far as what that means for this offense moving forward. And I think there was a really good question asked of Stefanski in his portion of meeting with the media, where he basically was asked, how do you feel about the idea that at some point you hope to settle in on one of these guys for the remainder of the season? And he continued to say what this team's really been saying all year, as resilient as they've been. We're just taking it 1 week at a time. We're focusing on how we have to win this game. So from my perspective, it certainly felt like there were some positives with the offense this past weekend in Los Angeles with Flacco under center. Throwing the ball to 9 receivers only happened one other time this season. The fact that Flacco pushed the ball down the field more than any quarterback in the last 5 years is an encouraging sign as well. So I think all signs are pointing to Flacco, but it still is a developing conversation, a developing story that you want to pay attention to throughout the week, obviously over at brownsdigest.com. Other injury notes, Amari Cooper was not out on the practice field today. He remains in the concussion protocol. That can always be nerve-wracking to hear when you hear guys in the concussion protocol, and obviously we've seen that play out with other players this year. Marquise Goodwin was injured in that Cardinals game. He hasn't been back since because he's still in the concussion protocol. So something to monitor. But the positive, I think, from Amari's standpoint is that Kevin Stefanski did say he's trending in the right direction towards potentially playing this weekend. So that would be a huge get back for the Browns if he's able to suit up on Sunday against the Jaguars. I think early on you saw last weekend that Flacco was really making a point of emphasis of getting the ball to Amari Cooper, his top target. And as long as he's out there, I'm sure that will continue to be the case. It's good things tend to happen when you get the ball in Amari Cooper's hands. So another sort of developing situation. One other injury note that I want to make you guys aware of is just the status of Jed Wills. Obviously left several weeks ago with a knee injury against the Cardinals. He was put on the IR with an MCL injury that once you're on the IR, obviously you guys are aware, 4 weeks you have to at least be on. This would be the first week that can open his practice window and allow him to return to the field. Injury he has listed at about 4 to 6 weeks, so we don't know for sure if he's coming back. And Kevin Stefanski still left that as kind of a wait and see type situation at the moment. But something else to monitor as you wonder if the Browns will have a chance to get their offensive line back to almost full strength. Obviously, they'll never get Jack Conklin back this year, but a situation there that could play out for or pay dividends down the stretch of the season as you rebolster the left side of the offensive line with Jedrick Wills. I also want to get to this because we could always use a feel-good story. And Anthony Walker Jr. has been just that for the Browns the last couple of seasons, despite leaving or having to have the ACL injury last year, and that cost him the rest of last season. But he returned this year, and he has been a vocal leader at the forefront of everything the Browns have done this year. That's helped them get out to the 7-5 record that they have. And this week, he received all kinds of accolades for it, but really also for his work off the field. The first one, as many fans are aware of, the Walter Payton Man of the Year honor, which is given out to one player in the NFL each and every single year, but all 32 teams nominate somebody, and he was nominated for that award. He reacted to that. We'll get to that here in a second, but he also was chosen by his teammates for the Ed Block Courage Award. Maybe fans less familiar with that one, but it's basically named after former Baltimore Colts athletic trainer Ed Block, and it's an award handed out for courage, compassion, commitment, and community. So something that certainly Anthony Walker represents very, very well, all those things. And this was his reaction today to finding out to the news, obviously this week that came out that he was both the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, but also the team's Ed Block Courage Award recipient.
Thankful, obviously, my teammates, the organization for, the nominations, the award, getting the awards, the Walter Payton Man of the Year, obviously something, just like I said, just very prestigious. You see growing up, you see Super Bowls, you see NFL MVP, all that stuff. But the Man of the Year is something that, kind of sticks with you a little longer, that legacy that you want to leave in the community and stuff like that. So very thankful for that. The Ed Block Courage Award, obviously not an award that you want to be up for. It means you got hurt and you got to come back from injury. But I think I'm stronger from it. And that's a testament to my teammates, honestly. Me being here every day with those guys last year, going through rehab, those guys really got me through. So I'm very thankful to those guys and for their nomination for that award.
Really cool honor, and I think Anthony Walker obviously very deserving on this team. He is a vocal leader on this team, vocal leader on the defense, and I think the leadership that he possesses and what he means to his teammates were reflected in both of those awards, sort of going his direction, or him being nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year at least, and earning the other one, the Ed Block Courage Award. Speaks to his character, speaks to everything that he's done, and you kind of heard later on in the conversation, which you can find that entire press conference over at the Browns Digest YouTube channel. But he talked a lot just about like his community work and trying to help educate kids, and how he's the Stay in the Game program that the Browns have partnered with him on, and all those types of things, and just how meaningful that is to him. So really, really cool honor for him. And that was also noted by head coach Kevin Stefanski, who actually started his press conference today. We got Kevin Stefanski in a good mood today. He was cracking some jokes. He was having some fun, and he made one at the expense of Anthony Walker, but had some good things to say about him as well. Here's what he had to say about his star linebacker.
I just want to acknowledge Anthony Walker Jr., the Cleveland Browns Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. Incredible influence on this football team, in the locker room, on the field, and then in our community. I think he does an amazing job. Sets a great example for all of our players on how to be a pro, how to make an impact, again, both on your football team and on your community. So really proud of A-Walk. And then his teammates, which I think is a big deal, voted him the Ed Block Courage Award winner, which that's always, when it's voted on by your peers, I think it means something really special. And for him to come back from the injury that he had, those are hard. And to rehab the way he did and to come back and play well for us, again, huge impact. And then, I don't know if you guys know, but he was out of practice last Wednesday, and just to overcome ordering oysters on DoorDash. Think about how hard that is to overcome, and he did. I don't know if that factored into the voting by his teammates, but I just want to acknowledge that fact.
Fun little moment there, fun little anecdote from Stefanski. But yeah, I think Anthony Walker certainly epitomizes everything you're looking for from this franchise in terms of a leader, in terms of both on and off the field. And I think that's reflected on Sundays out there as being the guy with the green dot on his helmet, kind of running the show on the defensive side of things. So congratulations to him. It's well earned. And there was a lot of just fanfare sort of shared with him and around him today out in Berea, which was cool to see. But at the top of this, we kind of gave you the rundown, a lot of the injury news and that style stuff that you can follow along with and get updates on throughout the rest of the week over at brownsdigest.com. Of course, that quarterback situation is the big one. We'll be writing a lot about that this week. So again, brownsdigest.com, you know where to find us. You can also follow along over on the YouTube channel. We'll be back tomorrow with more live updates from Berea, but also more press conferences as we'll see if we hear from the quarterbacks, potentially Joe Flacco speaking on Thursday. So it should be an eventful week as we wait to find out who the starting quarterback will be for the Browns, like we've done many, many times already this year. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm Spencer German coming to you from Berea. And as always, keep it locked. Follow along, brownsdigest.com.